Good evening, everyone, and welcome to This Week from Rockdale. And I am your host, as usual, Larry Cox. And it is great to be here this evening. And I'm going to start the evening out by saying hello to all of our friends that have joined us tonight. But first, what I would love you guys to do is like and share this show because it's going to be an interesting show tonight. We're going to talk about the PFA Lying Game. And there was a show on TV called The Lying Game here a few years ago or so. Well, we're going to talk about the Rockdale County Board of Commission and their PFA Lying Game. So before I get there, let you guys like, share the show. We can build this audience so that the folks of Rockdale County can hear about the lying shenanigans going on. Let me see, Angelo Espero. Good evening, Angelo. Laura Skelton, Jill Oldham, Dan Burks, Catherine Lynn, Danielle Munoz. Good evening, Danielle, from way up north. Cheryl Moulton, Dondra. Good evening, Phillips. Nice to have you here tonight. We have got Dan Burks in the house tonight. Great to have you in here tonight, Dan. George Kelichek, nice to have you in the house. Michelle McGee, nice to have you in the house tonight. So we've got a nice little audience building here tonight, and it's great to know because we're going to talk about the Rockdale County Board of Commission and their lying games with the PFA. Gloria English, great to have you here today, Gloria. Nice for you to be joining us tonight because it's an interesting night tonight. Going to be a good show because I think we're going to talk about some stuff that are just going to expose the misinformation, the lying, because that's what it is. No, Facebook notifications did not work this evening, Cheryl. They're down for some reason. We've scheduled the show and it's just not being notified. I made a little video yesterday and then I put some Facebook stuff out a little while ago. For some reason, that feature is just down right now. So we'll see what happens when Facebook gets that feature back up. And James Corbett, welcome, James. Nice to have you here tonight. So, hey, I'm going to share something and we're going to start about part of the PFA lying games. A good friend of the show, Joey Williams. Good evening, Joey Williams. Good friend of the show, Tina Hobbs. Lisa Lancaster's here. She sent a letter to Senator Strickland's office and then to the governor's office, and the governor's office answered a question. Good evening, Clayton Orwick. How are you doing today? So, and the governor's office answered a question about the PFA and what the PFA can and can't do, which I was aware of what the PFA can and can't do. I was also originally, one of the reasons I was concerned about the PFA and the funding mechanism that it does is I did not think it fit building a courthouse. And I'll explain that in a little bit. But you guys have seen, I've shared this right here, and I'm going to read you what the governor's office, this is the legislative liaison, Earl Shivers, he responded back. The PFA, this is a local issue. The PSA is introduced as local legislation approved by the General Assembly and then signed into law by the governor. After that, all bonds or funding is an action of the local authorities. The PFA enters into an intergovernmental contract with the beneficiary of the funds, in this case, the courthouse or the county government, and the agreement to make payments to the PFA. A PFA does not have the ability to levy taxes on citizens. Then they can use a portion of the SPLOST funds, but that must be approved by the voters. It's a financing mechanism for counties. Okay, now let's talk about this, right, guys? So in this, it says the PFA cannot levy taxes. And that's true. The PFA is not going to pay the payment. The PFA is going to issue the bonds. The county is going to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the PFA to make the payments. The PFA cannot raise taxes or issue taxes or create a tax. Nowhere in the legislation does it say the county can't do that, because the county is the entity that will be entering into the agreement with the PFA to pay the debt. So this is where the trickery came in, right? So the PFA is not going to raise taxes. They're not going to levy taxes on you. They're not going to create new taxes. But the county government is going to pay for the bonds that the PFA has issued. When the county has told you the PFA is not going to raise taxes, they're not going to do, they're not. The PFA is not, but the county is. That's how this works. The county's going to. Good evening, Justin Kenny. Nice to have you join us tonight. So that's how that works, guys. The PFA is not the entity that will be paying for the courthouse. It will be the county. The county enters into the intergovernmental agreement. They then raise your taxes, which they admitted to raising 2 mills a month ago, so that they could start having a nest egg so that the bonds could be issued. At the end of the day, even though that the PFA is the entity issuing the bonds, the government still is, the county government is still on the hook for all the debt that's owed by anything that's associated with the county. Clayton, Oregon, you're right. The PFA is a mechanism to spend tax dollars, 100,000%. So you've got, the county, which they said, no, we're not going to raise taxes. We're not going to, that's not where we're going to, PFA is not going to. I didn't think that this was the proper mechanism to do the courthouse, because when you look and see what PFAs have been used for, PFAs have been used for like parking garages. They've been used for amphitheaters. They've been used for things that can actually generate revenue. And the majority of the time, revenue bonds are actually the funding mechanism that's generated for a PFA project, because the project pays for itself. That's what historically PFA authorities have done. They have went into intergovernmental agreements to build things that pay for themselves. This courthouse cannot pay for itself. And the reason they're doing the PFA bonding is because it does not require citizens to vote on it. The general obligation bonds that failed in 2018 require you and I as taxpayers to approve the general obligation bonds. They would actually require us to approve any type of bond that the county would want to issue. So that's why the trickery. That's why we create the PFA. The PFA can issue the bonds, and there's no vote required. They've got these in the legislation where they have to have some meetings and this and that, but it's all pomp and circumstance. The public meetings mean nothing. The PFA will rubber stamp it, the county will approve it, and they will move on with the funding mechanism, and then they will raise our taxes to make these payments. I'm going to talk about something else here in a second too, because we've got some information about the courthouse and size and whatnot about what it's, what we're looking at. So we got this breakdown of the square footage of the proposed building they want to do. And when you look at the top part here, 1 through 12, and that's common space, BOC offices, public relations, stormwater, coroner, finance, technology services, talent management, planning and development, tax assessor, water and sewer department, and the tax commissioner, then all that comes up to 75,970 square feet of building space. we look here at this blue highlighted 58,000. That is the square footage that currently all these entities have. Then we go down here to what the courthouse space is. And we see that you've got the Superior Court, the district attorney, public defender, court administration, clerk of court, 3 state courthouses, a magistrate, 3 courthouses, probate 1, juvenile 2, a sheriff's office, 16, almost 17,000 square feet. That's like 2.5 football fields. That's a lot of space, guys. 2.5 football fields. Accountability court, and then building management. And that comes up to 173,542 square feet. Okay. So, dude, that is a lot of space, right? And the courthouse, the 12 total courthouses are 77,000 square feet. Now, when we look at this, they're proposing, we only have 2 state court judges now, and they're proposing three state court judges. Superior court judges, we only have 2 superior court judges. They're proposing 3 courtrooms for that. We only have 1 magistrate court right now. They're proposing 3 magistrate courts. We have still 1 probate. Juvenile court, we have 1 juvenile court, and they're proposing 2. So they're expecting all this expansion. I mean, even best case scenario, now they're saying 2050, Rockdale population would be 110. Like, folks, I do not believe Rockdale County will see the 110. I do not think Rockdale County will see the 100,000 population. I predict Rockdale County's population will begin shrinking after the next census. I think the next census, we will have a shrinkage because, folks. So just at the end of the day, this comes up to 249,512 square feet. That's right at 250,000 square feet. If we do a few little numbers, and we do that at what the lower end of square footage to build a building like this is $360 per square foot. That comes up to right at $90 million. Then when you add the $20 million that was in the SPLOS that was allocated for courthouse, which they said counted toward their 110, that is $110 million. That is the total amount that the PFA can borrow or issue bonds on, 110. So they've maxed themselves out. Now look, guys, this doesn't, the square footage of that doesn't include infrastructure, purchasing of lands, or furnishing or equipping the building. That is just the square footage price, 360, the bottom number to build a facility like that, $360,000 a square foot. So we're at $110 million. No property has been acquired. No furnishings, no equipping the building. All that has to be done. No overhead, no overruns have been calculated in. And we've maxed out what that is on the low end. We've maxed out on the low end. So in reality, so what do you think is that? You know, Catherine Lynn, I'm going to go in there. They said $19 million for repairs to the existing courthouse, but the way the PFA is, it's courthouse. So if they allocate money for the courthouse, then that goes against the PFA, and they've stated that themselves. Any monies allocated to courthouse restoration will go against the PFA. So they've taken $20 million off the table when they allocated those monies to SPLOS. And there's no guarantee that they're going to, well, they've already spent a bit of money that they needed to on the courthouse. And I don't know if that's an accurate number that they would need as far as 19 million for renovations. We would, or repairs. It's not actually renovations, it's repairs. So we would see if that's an accurate number or not moving forward. But you know, when we look at what the county is proposing, I mean, guys, where in the world, how are they going to build this building in that nook and cranny that they're looking at right there in Old Town? I mean, and they talk about the water authority putting in a new for water and sewer department. They just bought a brand new bill. They just bought the bank building to put water and sewer in. So that link, you know what they're going to do, guys? They're going to tear down that building. That building is going to be demolished and tore down. They just spent several $1 million on that beast. So we're looking at this is a disaster. This is a disaster in the making. So the citizens of Rockdale County were lied to. We're not going to raise your taxes to build this. We're going to do these bonds, this PFA. They were making it sound like magic money. All this money will come from property tax assessments. That's what it's going to. The bank's going to. What does happen to the bank? Who knows what happens to the bank? We'll find out. I mean, all this is going to be found out, guys, because this is very interesting when we look at all this. It is very wasteful. It is very negligent. And this Board of Commission is totally out of control. This is where we take these guys are merely clowns. Clown University, the main campus. And I promised you guys something the other day that I would be giving you the addresses of the extension universities. So the main campus of the Clown College in Rockdale County is 901 Main Street. And the two extension colleges, the Rockdale County Public Schools Central Office is 960 Pine Street. And the other auxiliary branch of the Clown College is the Conyers City Hall. And it's at 901 O'Kelly Street. And it doesn't have a familiar number, the 901? 901 O'Kelly Street and 901 Main Street. That is just crazy, guys. These guys are just ridiculous. You know, Catherine, you mentioned this right now. I'm going to go ahead and put this up here for a second. If they want to play semantics, then it can be argued that the $6 million for the courthouse improvement is a direct tax for the very thing the PFA is supposed to have been established to finance. That is correct. So we can also play that game. But this is what the county has said amazingly about that $6.6 million. That if they don't add those additional 2 meals, then they would not be financially stable enough to be able to get bonds issued to build the courthouse. So you all remember when they were going through that process, they said they were financially stable enough. They were in financial shape to be able to do this bonding. And then at the end of the day, last month, they said if they don't get these additional tax dollars so that they can show that they're financially sound, they won't be able to get bonds or a good bond rate. So they misled the legislature and they have misled the citizens of Rockdale County. Now, would it surprise the individuals that are watching this show and the people who will watch this show later that the county has manipulated us in some manner? No, it will not surprise any of us that they have done this. It can't surprise anybody that this Board of Commission is producing and providing and pushing out misleading information, because that's what corrupt politicians do. Corrupt politicians who intend to line their pockets out of land deals, that's what they do. Because just remember, if we would build a facility at Parker Road, which we don't have to buy land, the infrastructure is already there, access with a 4-lane highway, then we cut these costs significantly. We could with SPLOST funding alone build a $30 to $40 million building over there that would more than accommodate the needs of Rockdale County for years and years to come. But no, there's only one reason why a government entity would not build something on land they already own, that has proper infrastructure, that has accessibility, and that is because they intend, you hear this, they intend somebody will make money off of these land deals that they're going to need to purchase, to build this in Old Town. That's what it comes down to. This comes down to manipulation of the taxpayers so that land deals can be made. And I'll go further to even, talk about why I firmly believe that there's shenanigans that go afoot in the county right now. And it goes back to turnover. It goes back to, we have had 8 different director level positions in the last 30 months that after 2 people are hired, after a new zoning, planning and zoning, and after a new chief of staff are hired, there will be 22 individuals that will have held 8 positions, director level positions in this county. Let me ask, if you run a business and you have your top management turning over like that, is your company going to be fluently run? No, it's not going to be fluently run. If you have that much top management being turned over on a monthly basis, then you are going to be in shambles. You will not have a clear direction. You will not have clear authority at any of these levels, because these individuals there's a learning curve to learning the job. You have to learn the county. You have to learn the mechanisms within the county. By the time someone learns their job, they've decided to leave. In most cases, I would say these individuals are on the job a month and they know they've made a mistake and they're planning an exit strategy. That's what is exactly going on. That is exactly what's going on. Susan, you make a point, and I'll tell you why I have a different opinion about this, and I'll share it. Okay, it's because they intend for Rockdale to resemble Decatur. MARTA is coming out beside the railroad corridor. For MARTA to come here, we have to pass a tax. And I've looked at the counties that have passed these taxes for MARTA to come. Rockdale County does not have the financial ability to pay their share of MARTA coming to Rockdale County. I mean, Susan, you go look at the numbers. I've looked at the numbers. I've had other people look at the numbers. I just don't see Rockdale County having the numbers. I mean, we've got that limited bus service that comes here now. If Rockdale County is required to pay for the line updates and to pay for the maintenance and upkeep of the lines that are here in Rockdale, I don't think so. Well, you say not now, soon, but we still have to be able to pay for it. And Rockdale County does not have the tax base to pay for MARTA to come here. Those are the numbers that I see. And if, like I said, we all know I intend on running for chairman of Rockdale County in 2024. And that's one of the things that I intend to look at is what that would do. I do not think that Rockdale County will ever get the MARTA service, the train service in Rockdale, because I don't think we will ever be able to pay our share. That's what I think. If someone can prove me different, show me a way that Rockdale County can do that, then I'll change my mind. But right now, I don't see it. Let's see what happens with that. People have their own opinions about that. I think my personal opinion is that MARTA is not in the future of Rockdale County, the train service, the rail service, because we can't pay for it. There is no financing mechanism or tax that can be passed in Rockdale County because if we all remember the Gwinnett tax failed a while ago when they attempted to do that, and the monies that it was going to take to finance the rail system in Gwinnett. I I just don't think that it, and I think in Gloria English, just that we just do not have this. It's really not needed because we don't have the population. We can, even if we grew to the 110,000 person population, there's still not the need to bring MARTA to Rockdale County. Now, I'm going to tell you why. One scenario that may get it to Rockdale County, and that's if some of these authorities pay for it, because they may need they need the MARTA to go to Morgan County to the electric car plant, and if they need that thing to go there, and it's going to got to come through Rockdale County, then one of these entities may pay for it and pay the maintenance. But then this comes to this problem. Like I've told you guys, I don't see that car. I think that car plant will be there for a decade. Then I think it'll fold up and go away because we don't have the technology, and electric cars are not the way to go. It's just not. It's not the way to go. So let's just say that happens, that the car plant, whatever, and we got a decade, it folds, and then we lose the funding mechanisms. Then the trains stop running. I think if it does, it would be a short-term thing, not a long-term thing. That's my opinion. But if I am fortunate in my case of getting elected chairman of Rockdale County, we're gonna make them trains go around Rockdale County. We're not going to. Clayton says that that, but those require public votes. Again, we come into this situation. Gwinnett County voted it down a few years ago. These require public votes, and if the public votes it down just like they did in Gwinnett, then it doesn't come. So that's where I think we got. There's a lot of things to happen for something like that to come, and I think earliest case scenario would be a decade from now. And I think we've got an opportunity in Rockdale County to correct the course. And I don't think MARTA is something we have to worry about in the near future, but it is something we need to be concerned about in the extended future, and what it would do to the citizens and the tax base in Rockdale County. We're already stretched with our school system. This courthouse thing that's going to happen, Lord God, the citizens of Rockdale County could not withstand a MARTA tax being thrown on them. That's just is just it. So I don't agree with that. So I mean that's what my thing is. Susan, you think that? I mean, I personally think the reason the BOC is so insistent on Old Town for the courthouse is because of lining their pockets. Because you've had several commissioners previously, and that's what they purchased the Parker Road for. Parker Road was purchased for the courthouse administration building for the county. I think you've got some very greedy, poor people that are holding office right now. That's what we have. We have greedy, poor people that are holding office right now, and they need money. And the way they can get money is lining their pockets through land deals. Land deals, you can do the research. Land deals are one of the biggest, or is the biggest form of corruption in local and municipal government. Land deals are how politicians line their pockets on a daily basis. So this is about land deals. This is truly what this is about. It's my personal gut feeling is this courthouse thing is nothing more than about land deals for this county commission. They don't have the insight to be thinking about 10 to 15 years from now. They don't care about 10 to 15 years from now. They care about 6 months from now and what money that they can make off of land deals and other corrupt things that they do. So that's what they do. I mean, that's what it is. Gloria wants to know, because They found a loophole with this PFA to get this money, and the MARTA thing is totally different because initiate a we would have to initiate a MARTA tax, and the citizens have to vote on that tax, and there's no stepping around that. The citizens would have to actually issue agree to that tax, and that can't be skirted. It's just like our host legislation that has to be passed, voted on by citizens, and that's why the host proposed host change that we have has to be voted on by citizens. And just to let you guys know a little information, starting October the 8th, the Rockdale voter will begin the petition quest for the changing the host to 100% host, going toward property tax relief for the citizens of Rockdale County. So we will be on each Saturday moving forward until we get the signatures, the Rockdale voter group, and we're going to be sending out emails this week asking for volunteers. We will be doing 2 voting precincts at a time. We will be giving people walking lists of different streets in those precincts, and we will be collecting signatures to get our 4,500, which we're going to get 4,700, have the 200 buffer, to be able to put this on the ballot in 2023, so that 100% of the host tax will go to property tax reduction for you, the citizens of Rockdale County. So Saturday, October the 8th, is what we will do. And that's what we intend to do at this point. So we really think this is going to be a great thing, a positive thing, and that the citizens of Rockdale County, we hope that you really join this effort to do that. So starting October the 8th, and every Saturday until we get the 4,700 signatures that we're shooting for, we will be out collecting signatures, and we will do 2 voting precincts a Saturday. And we will be doing that from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. I'll, as soon as this week, I'll put something out on the Facebook page of This Week from Rockdale. When the Rockdale Voter, it'll be on the rockdalevoter.com page. And we will have different entities that are working with us, sending out the sign-up page, because we're going to have a sign-up page for you guys to be able to sign up and that. So it's going to be a great thing. It's going to be a wonderful thing we do, and we're going to help lower our taxes by expanding that. So Angela asked a question. Okay, Angela, I hate to say, but the ship has sailed. How can we as citizens stop the BOC from building a new courthouses versus using Parker Road, which we voted for? So this is the deal. When they got the PFA, and this is when we fought the SPLOST and the PFA this past spring, and we said if these 2 things pass, this county will bulldoze. They will ramrod a courthouse in Old Town, and that's what they're attempting to do. The only hope that we have is this, that things get delayed, and by 24 election, they don't have very much of it done, and that Oz Nesbitt and the Post 1 commissioner are defeated, and whoever becomes chairman and Post 1 commissioner and take office in 25, there's very little construction done, and that they can vote to halt construction and do a new plan. Now, the county's going to be in a lawsuit when that happens, because they're going to have contracts and stuff. But you know what? I would rather pay $5 million, $10 million in a settlement than I would spend $250 million at the end of the day on what this complex. Plus, look, guys, we will save several $100 million. Because let's just say we do 110 and we have to end up borrowing another 80 or 90 million or whatever, and it's over $200 million. We're looking at $500 million in debt at the end of the day when we put financing on this, when we do our interest rate. So if we've got to pay a $10,000 settlement for breaking contracts, it would be well worth it to save ourselves $200 and $300 million in interest payments at the end of the day. So that's how we do it. I mean, we've got to realize as citizens in 2024, it depends on where this project is. I'll tell you, if they've broken ground, not began to build anything in 25, hopefully I would get the new person as post one to agree with me. We would stop this thing and we'd make, they always yell about wanting green space in Old Town, right? So you know what? We'd plant some grass, put some park benches up, and people can go there and watch the birds sing. That's what I would do. I really think that's the only chance we have to stop it right now, because this is actually a train that is coming to Old Town, and the only way to stop it is to somehow derail it with an election and hope that government moves as slow as it usually does on these kind of projects. That's the only hope that I think we have, and that's what I believe. So that's what we've got going forward with that, guys. So like I said, this county, we've got a lot of things to do, a lot of things that we can look forward to how we can do. Catherine Lynn wants to know this. Okay, Catherine, I'll put this up there. And I've got a couple theories about this too. How do you predict they will borrow more if they max out the PFA? Okay, let's just say they max out the PFA. We're not successful. These clowns stay in office. So the year 25, 26 rolls around. They've got a half constructed building there. They run out of money. They go to the local delegation and say, you can't leave a half constructed building in Old Town Conyers. And the legislature will agree with them, and they will amend that legislation. At that point, they may even come to you, the citizens, and say, hey, we've got this half-constructed building in Old Town. We need you to let us issue general obligation bonds. That will happen. So, I mean, that's how. But I think the scenario that's most likely is they get this half-built, overruns happen. They go to the legislature and say, hey, we can't leave a half-constructed building in the middle of Old, which they can't. And we couldn't as citizens. And they will grant them an extension and let them have another $100 million to complete the project. That's what will happen, guys. That's exactly what will happen. And that's not fantasy. That is reality. Because we told you the reality of what would happen if they passed the PFA and the SPLOST. And that's the reality. And folks, they tricked everybody with the PFA. The PFA is not an entity that makes the payments back. It is the funding mechanism. It's how they're going to borrow the money. And then the county is going to enter into an agreement. They're going to repay. The PFA will not raise your taxes. The PFA will not institute new taxes. But the county government will raise your taxes and institute new taxes to pay for the bonds that the PFA will issue, because they are allowed to. The PFA is not allowed to, but the county is allowed to. And that's how we got hoodwinked. That's how the legislature got manipulated by this PFA. And that's how you, the taxpayers of Rockdale County, have been put on the hook for hundreds of millions of dollars. And that's exactly what it is. At the end of the day, after financing, this is a $500 million project. And that's reality. You folks are on the hook for $500 million. And that's the reality of what's going on in this county right now. You have been involved in the PFA lying games. And then you've got a pretend courthouse. It's a fake courthouse authority or fake courthouse committee. They have got no authority. They're just going along with what's going on. Alex, I'm going to disagree with you. Okay, I'm going to disagree with Alex, because I think this legislature did get manipulated because they're also stupid. I don't think they realized what they were doing. I think one guy did. That's Brian Strickland. I think that moron did know. But the rest of these fools, I think, have no idea what they were passing or what the legislation did. Because I've had conversations with them and they have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea about legislation. They really barely know how to get legislation passed. So I disagree with you, Alex. I firmly believe that this legislature was manipulated because they don't know what they're doing. And they had no idea what they passed because they could not distinguish between the PFA and the government. They were thinking of that as the one time. I disagree, Alex. They don't know. They have no idea. After having conversations with them, they have no idea what they passed. And that's the way it is. They were manipulated. They didn't think they could do it through raising taxes. And then that's why they were so angry when the millage rate was, they think they got manipulated. They didn't get manipulated. They got fooled because they don't know the legislation. They don't know what it means. And that's fact. They don't know what it means. And guys, that's why we need to pay attention to what's going on in this county, what's going on with these elected officials, and we need to expose the manipulation. This county government is good at one thing. They are good at misinformation and manipulation, and they are very good at lying to you, the citizens of Rockdale County. That's what they do. Sure, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. So, guys, what I think we need to do is be very diligent, pay attention, and know that we can make a difference in future elections. And that's what I urge you to do. Stop electing these clowns. Remember, we have the main clown college, and we have two subsidiaries. We have these two secondary campuses. The main campus is 901 Main Street, the Board of Commission. The one secondary campuses is the 960 Pine Street, the Board of Commission. The other one is 901 O'Kelly Street, the City of Conyers. These are where all the clowns reside. This is where all the decisions are made. This is where all the manipulation and lying occurs. So just remember about most politicians. How do you know they're lying? Some people say when their lips are moving. It's not true. If they're breathing, they're lying. If they're breathing, they're lying. That's how you know they're lying. They're still alive. They're still breathing. If they're in office and they're breathing, they're lying. That's what we know. Folks, I'll tell you what. I have talked enough tonight. Actually, got myself pretty fired up. You may not tell it, but trust me, inside I'm a churning right now. So I'm going to let you guys off here tonight. I appreciate every one of you guys tuning in tonight and letting me spout my opinion and what I think about this. And actually, a lot of you guys send me messages of support and encouragement and information. And I thank each and every one of you for that, because this is a team effort. And sometimes, even though I on air disagree with some of the things that you guys say, isn't that the great thing about America? Isn't that a great thing about free speech, that we can disagree with each other and it not be the end of the world? I love that about America. I love that about being able to voice your opinion about things. And I love that you guys have opinions about things, because when we put our opinions out there and we think about it and we do the things that we do and we fight for what's right, then good things can happen. And I believe with the help of people like you and the people who pay attention to what's going on, at the end of the day, we can make a difference in Rockdale County, and we can reset Rockdale and make change. So thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you this coming Wednesday on the midweek report. And Lord, who knows what we'll be talking about this Wednesday, but I'm sure it'll be exciting. And I'm sure I will insult and talk trash about clowns one more time, because we've got to stop the clown college. We've got to eliminate that degree program. And with your help, we will. Thank you and good night.